What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 38 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Orion Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we completed the ritual of the Griffin Wood and are nearing to the completion of the Temple of Erith Kiel therein. As promised, the last few episodes of the campaign are going to focus solely on rituals, and this time we're going to do the biggest ritual of all, or at least try to get through it. I don't remember how, well, like, what happens with this one, but we'll see how we can go through it. This may very well be the sort of second finale of the campaign. The first one, of course, having been the Black Pyramid and Khemri, with all of the massive fights that Orion got there, and this may be the second one, depending if we accidentally have to fight the final battle, or the Battle of the Oak of Ages, which is very likely. We do still have to complete the other rituals for the World Roots Healing / the Long Victory, and we're well on the way there, but this one is the time now. So let's start with that. Why did I click Deep Roots? This is just a habit at this point. A Ritual of Rebirth Orion, the biggin. And oh wow, these are far. What the heck? Okay, I wasn't expecting them to be that far. 1, 2, 3. The Ritual of Rebirth begins. The Ritual of Rebirth has been successfully initiated in Athel Loren. Once completed, the Great Forest shall be brought back to its legendary splendor and will revitalize the world roots beneath. But take heed, the use of ritual magic in the area has attracted the attention of Beastmen, who gather nearby to mobilize against the Great Oak, defend it at all costs, and ensure the ritual is complete. Alrighty, that's the plan. It always was. Let's see what kind of beastmen we have here in Carcassonne. Looks like Orion can reach it. And what do we have here? Kind of an interesting composition in terms of horse, Igors, Bestigors, and stuff. Honestly, kind of not worth fighting. I'm just going to auto-resolve this one, but we'll leave the next two at max level, because obviously that one's just silly. I mean, at the same time, I felt like we should still take advantage of the ability to ambush them. Like, we probably shouldn't play poorly and just to get battles, you know what I mean? We already give the AI as much as we possibly can, so... But the next one we'll wait until it reaches 2 turns, and... I guess we could fight one with Akka and one with Orion. Keep them both by them. Especially since Sokka's the other legend of this campaign. So move there, and then we'll, I guess, mill through a couple of turns until we get there. Fortunately, there isn't much moving or admin or anything of that nature left in this particular campaign, or at the very least since we've essentially gone idle in our territories, so shouldn't be a problem at all. Datan, just briefly, I would like you to get back into Orion's camp, as you will be dealing with the ritual there, and... we do have a Tamurkhan here. If we can catch him with Durthu, we'll do that fight, because it's that would be a fun contest, but I don't know whether we can, as in we do know that he will attempt to escape us, so we shall see. Anyway, skip. There may be buildings, there may be other stuff, but none of it important, I think. Even the tech thievery, or at the very least, that's what I would do between the episodes, but anyway, maybe I should have just milled through stuff between the episodes and come back once we were ready to properly fight. I'll do that for the next rituals. Honestly, I figured we'd be able to move on in and then immediately start the fight, but I keep forgetting that jumping on them when they have 3 turns remaining means that you still have the chance to destroy the army while it's not complete. Alright, Spirit of the Jungle destroyed. Oh, well, that's a shame. They were our ally, too. Noctilus still hanging around the Galleon's graveyard, though looks like all of our allies want a piece of him. Who knows if he'll survive. Forest Invasion... What? Oh! There's another one here. Oh, I didn't see this one. I guess I should have gone to that one. Can't go all the way there, though. But this one is in next turn, and this one is in... 2 turns. Alright, I guess we can leave that one then. Orion, go here. We'll do this one then, and hopefully you can fight that while Akka just sit back, relax, and why are you suffering attrition? Mutagenic energies. That is tremendously rude, but hang out here. Wait until this invasion. Alright, and the Wild Hunt is back. Well, isn't that lovely? Right on time, I think, for our rituals. Double check. Does anybody else need to move? I don't think so. Wait, we ended the turn, so where did Tamurkhan go? Oh! He captured the scrap towers from our little Cathayan friends. Well, well, well. I was not expecting this, but hey, you know what? Durthu never got the chance to fight with his, with the new guys on his team. Let's go Fosig here. His treemen, so might as well fight Tamurkhan. Why not? That's appropriate. Granted, it's nothing crazy army-wise, but Tamurkhan is always a big issue in terms of bringing him down, and hey, valiant defeat, so let's find out if it is. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Durthu versus Tamurkhan. I was once again really not expecting this, but I am very happy that we will be able to see Durthu off in this campaign with such a clash of the Titans, and we'll see if he can beat Tamurkhan down. They're close to the same level. Tamurkhan has obviously a massive amount of HP, and much more so than Durthu in terms of effective HP, because on top of that, he is going to regenerate the heck out of himself. He also hits pretty damn hard, almost as hard as Durthu himself, and of course will reduce Durthu's HP with poison, assuming that Durthu is not immune to contact effects. Should have maybe had him go kill Epidemius for it, but well, we'll just have to wait and see. Durthu does have that spell resistance reduction, but frankly, we're probably not going to be using any damaging spells on Tamurkhan anyway, so that's not going to be particularly helpful. Anyway, here we go. Gonna march forward. We also do have to watch out for Tamurkhan's little minion heroes. There are plenty of them. Kazak the Befouled is out there, who's a pretty darn solid fighter with regeneration and I believe a Mortis Engine effect, unless I'm mistaken. And a pretty solid debuff as well. The mass reduction might be interesting. He also, I believe, has Mournhowl in here. Mournhowl's a very solid Lord Assassin, massive amounts of melee attack, massive amounts of weapon strength, and other abilities. So, we shall see. Anyway, Durthu will of course lead the charge as he usually does, unafraid of the little minions and trying to head directly through them towards Tamurkhan himself. Now let's see if Tamurkhan takes the bait and decides to attempt to engage Durthu. It does look like he will send some of those Furies forward, or at least the Furies attempted to engage Durthu and have been forced onto the ground, where the Forest Spirits will rip them to shreds. Looks like Tamurkhan will avoid Durthu and head directly towards another portion of the battlefield, so we're going to have to march our way towards him. All the while, of course, doing damage and taking damage in turn. Tamurkhan will drop his Nurgling Bombardment, I forget what the name of the ability is, on top of some of our Dryads, heavily damaging two of them, taking about 50% of their HP off immediately upon army contact, which ain't so great for us. The enemy are going to lose their Furies pretty much immediately, however, which is obviously a benefit to us, and it looks like Tamurkhan will attempt to use a Great Unclean One and even more Furies to block Durthu off in his attempt to head towards him. Durthu, however, has activated the Sword of Death and a Flock of Doom, and is affecting pretty much all the units in Tamurkhan's center line, which should be a pretty big old piece of damage. Looks like we'll have one of our treemen try to hold Tamurkhan off together with the Treekin, although it looks like even the Treekin are just sent flying by Buabolos, as that's a big old massive toad dragon. Interesting that the Great Unclean Ones look small compared to the Treemen, and I suppose that Durthu's Firebark Elders are actually going to come in pretty handy here, because obviously they do fire damage, and that's additional bonus damage, and helpful against any units that regen, which is a lot of the Nurglite units. Plus, I believe Durthu himself is toting around a Banner of Eternal Flame, which means that he has flaming attacks and everybody around him as well. Anyway, still more enemies getting into Durthu's way. He is, of course, still casting and now beating down some Beasts of Nurgle. Ooh, I like that sword slam into the ground. That I don't think that poor Plague Bearer is getting back up. and probably neither are these Beasts of Nurgle as they begin to be banished. Bounce of power is at about, let's say, 70% in our favor. Tamurkhan has lost no HP, however, and Durthu's taken a little bit of damage, having crossed all the way through this army. Kazak the Befouled has gotten himself trapped in a pile of forest spirits, however, which probably ain't so great for him. Granted, the Treekin don't do a crazy amount of damage, but that's a lot of them, and we've got magical poison damage, magical poison fire damage on every single unit in the army, which is pretty darn decent. Anyway, it looks like Durthu has finally gotten rid of those, ooh, Mornhal. Of those Beasts of Nurgle, and Mornhal tried to attack him only to get smashed. And not in a good way. About 30% of his HP remaining. He'll probably recover some of it, but he's got no chance facing off against Durthu himself. Only Tamurkhan can do this thing. And I do imagine that Tamurkhan wouldn't be able to, you know, maggot his way into Durthu's body and actually make use of him. A, because, well, he's a big old tree, and B, the magics flowing through an elder are probably too much for such a thing to happen. It would be an interesting question as to whether Tamurkhan can do such a thing with a with like a regular tree man and then I don't know, infiltrate the forest or something. Anyway, I would imagine then ancient tree man would probably be a better body than an ogre tyrant. It's just that once again I think it's probably not possible. But anyway, looks like they're about evenly matched at the current time. Nurgle's favored sun immunity, contact effects, damage resistance, and immunity to flanking, but also getting hit by the Sword of Death at the same time. They're hitting both at about roughly 1k, while the rest of their armies continue to clash below them. And this is probably going to go on for a while as they whack away at each other. I wonder if either one of them has any kind of unique animations. Because Durthu's an older lord, so he probably wouldn't, I imagine, but maybe if Tamurkhan has specific animations, stagger animations, sync animations, or whatever, sync stagger, to do with big old targets like Durthu, we might still be able to see something. Either way, it looks like Tamurkhan's army is at about 5% bounce power left. As our Doombolt was the last unit remaining on field, and we are destroying the rest of Tamurkhan's army. Only Durthu versus Tamurkhan remains now, but it was always going to end up this way. Let's face it. Tamurkhan's Lieutenant Mornhal failed to do anything to Durthu, and now he has to try to take care of himself. Still regenerating decently well. But Durthu's looking pretty okay, and Durthu finally activates his potion of healing, which he has had in reserve for this entire battle. Still, in battles where Durthu actually has had to use it have been pretty darn few and far between. Some Treekin running around, but I'm not really ordering them to try to attack Tamurkhan. They were just kind of got trapped on the mass of Bubabolos. Durthu activates Pan's Impenetrable Pelt on himself to give him some damage resistance. And it does look like he's currently winning the fight, at least at the current time. Of course, Tamurkhan has that maggot lord ability, I don't remember what it's called either, that prevents him from dying when another lord is in proximity. I wonder how long that is. It's not Unspeakable Foulness, it's not Portal Glyph, Black Cleaver, I probably missed it in here somewhere. Regeneration, Spurting Bile Blood maybe? No, that's not it. Feast of the Maggot Lord, heal per second plus 1.5%, cannot die, and duration, it's only about 10 seconds. Restores up to 15% HP. Alright, well, Tamurkhan's down to 2k, and he's reached his healing cap, and Durthu has not. It looks like Durthu does have the advantage here. But let's be real here, in a one-on-one there's very few things in the Warhammer world that could really directly face off against Durthu. Especially depending on what part of the timeline Durthu's in. The more actual access to his power he has, the more absolutely ridiculous he is. Alright, and with that, Tamurkhan will go down at last. Durthu still has about half of his HP remaining and never reached his healing cap either, so he could have his Dryad's Earthblood and heal him up should we need it. Lovely. Close victory apparently, and we certainly did take damage, but well-earned, probably final battle for Durthu. Alright, very nice. Durthu versus Tamurkhan. Definitely wasn't what I was expecting when I started this episode today, but I am so happy that we got to see it happen. Over 100,000 damage on Durthu, making a fool out of Tamurkhan by doing 4 times as much damage and killing the big boy off, and also beating down Mournhowl and several other things while Tamurkhan was attempting to escape him. Lots of good damage on our treeman, and yeah, having around 10k, and solid damage on our treekin as well. Looks like the Ironthorn Reavers at 15k carry the day. But since we're unlikely to see these guys again, as in Durthu did a ritual, and this is probably his final fight of the campaign, disgruntled trees, all bark, no bite, neighbors angry, hedges, moonspring sentinels, Ironthorn Reavers, and terrible timber, thank you all for a job well done. And you as well, Durthu, of course. We'll occupy Heathland, I guess, not that we need it. Oh, plus 25% unit mass for Durthu? Yeah, that certainly works for me. Nearly 10k mass. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And now... Alright, was that this turn? I got distracted by all that. Okay, yeah, now we gotta wait the turn until we can fight again. I'm just going to assume that there was nothing else to do this turn, or at least I don't think that there was, and we can just ignore everything. Well, hopefully. Was there any buildings to build? If there was, it's very minor. Let's see. We did most of the admin. Ah, there we go. And yeah, I'm still building the buildings. And just because. And we're gonna trade this, but whatever. Alright, skip. Let's end the turn. Let's get Orion into the next fight here. Gotta get that ritual going. Can't have Durthu steal the show, although he does have a habit of looking as awesome as he does.
Were it not for the kind heart of the Lady Ariel, you would...
Alright, peace treaty with Morathi, really no need. Certainly serves no purpose for us. Huh. Why is this place glowing green, I wonder? Kingsglade, I mean. It's got that effect on it. Oh, also, while we're at it, get ready for duty. Tech Thief, Cain the Bloody-Handed God is now complete. Lovely, another forced invasion, and what do we... Oh, wow, that's not bad. 6 Bulgors, 5 Jabber Slights. Yeah, that's worthy of an endgame stack for Orion. I love it. Ariel, real quick, let's get you a... I mean, I guess we could give you your passive. You are casting decent bit. Blade of Terrors could be useful to us potentially. We do want... You know what? Let's get right pickings. We still want to get the regeneration on her. It's probably more important. The other invasions are imminent. And we'll do one with Akka, and then we'll do the other with Orion, and I think that'll be fun and nice and such. Orion, away we go to fight Ptehefu. And casualties low, a battle result close victory. I do wonder why. That's a pretty darn elite stack. I think there's a sort of bias to the auto resolve when your lord is very low level. So despite the fact that the enemy has a crazy stack, its lord is only level 3. But I guess Orion can fight the Gorgon instead. Anyway, I still think it'll be a very fun fight. So away we go. It's too bad the CA never licensed anything by the Beastie Boys for Beastmen trailer. But anyway, here we go. Big old Beastmen stack with 5 frickin' Jabberslights, and Jabberslights are certainly not to be underestimated, especially against fragile units. That spurting bile blood that they has and causes mass amounts of damage, plus that lethal poison, of course. Of course, the first of the Jabberslights will go down under concentrated fire from the 4 units of... Oh, it looks like Yaus Griffin got the kill. 4 units of Hawk Riders, who will be focusing the next one down as well. All the Jabberslights attempting to charge forth towards us, and we're also going to drop off a few... Well, okay, that one's going to miss. Alright, I got one Bestigor. Use the Nemesis Crown just to kill the one off. But you know what? Fair enough. Anyway, looks like we charge on in now. The Stag Knights and the Wild Riders charging into those Bulgors and Minotaurs led by the enemy Gorgon. We got our Glade Captain trying to face off against the Gorgon, while Orion attempts to rip apart one of the other enemy Jabberslights. And it looks like the Jabberslite will flee the contest against the King in the woods, while Orion turns to the Gorgon, who similarly will shatter, and by the looks of it, damn, he took damage fast. Yeah, well done, Orion. I mean, Orion not to be underestimated either. 2k missile strength and 1.2k weapon strength as well. Looks like the Gorgon is out, and... Okay, maybe you shouldn't have stolen Orion's kill. But anyway, the enemy army shatters, and the battle is ours, just like that. Much more quickly than I had originally anticipated. Not even going to 2 minutes, but, well, these battles... I mean... It's Orion's army, guys. I can't make it not be ludicrous in terms of the amount of damage that it deals. It's kind of the issue. Yeah. Putting more Wild Riders and more Stag Knights would have just, I don't know, made them kill enemies even faster. Plus, we got plenty more Beastmen armies to fight, so not to worry. We'll see the main line in action a little bit more in the other fights around the Oak of Ages ritual. Alright, there we go. Very nice. Seeing those big old monsters fall is absolutely glorious. And hey, we even got to use the Nemesis Crown just a little bit. Not that it did all that much, mind you, but hey, better than nothing. Anyway, the army destroyed in its entirety. Orion has... Oh, he has max mana as well. Not that we really need the money either, but whatever. We'll destroy the remnants of that. Enemy killed in battle. Faction Beastmen destroyed, though not so much. We'll head to the next one as soon as we can. It is coming in next turn, so it should be at basically full HP, depending on if we can get there. I guess we could... I mean, I'll let this army max itself out. I was wondering whether we should just attack with Akka right now, but why not let them... Why not get them just a teensy bit stronger so we can have a nicer fight against them with Akka as well, especially as it's liable to be Akka's last fight. Orion at least still gets the final battle, the defense of the Oak of Ages, whereas Akka will not be able to be present there. Anyway, pick a tech, any tech at all, I suppose. We're down to 2 again, because I haven't been stealing tech, so this is taking longer now, but I suppose it doesn't really matter all that much either. Get Trunk of Iron, and I mean, we could steal the tech, but whatever. Skip. And I'm just gonna double check that nobody's attacking any of our trees. Actually, one thing I did want to do though, Durthu, you're good here, but I think what we're going to do is, okay, we're gonna send you... Huh? Can we not move? Odd. A moment. Just reselect Durthu 1 second. Where the heck is he? Did I miss him? I think I missed him. Oh, there he is. Do this again and... Huh? Oh, it's because you're not at... Okay, my bad. Alright. Leave Scrap Towers and march stance all the way out here to the Haunted Forest. I got reasons behind this, guys. And I would like Durthu... actually, there's 2 places to potentially send him. We could also try to send him to Dracula's Spire. Maybe fight Gromby? I don't know. Seems kind of appropriate as well, but only if Gromby actually has an army worth fighting at this point in the campaign, after all. Anyway, now we've skipped and ended the turn. And I didn't steel tech again. And what the heck? Epidemius has come a-calling at the altar of the Crimson Harvest. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna send Delling to probably auto-resolve him because his army is kind of trash. Oh, although I suppose the AI doesn't, or wouldn't want our... wouldn't allow the auto-resolve to succeed. No, whatever. I mean, this comes from skipping a bunch of turns and not moving anybody around, so we're bound to lose at least a few of our outposts somewhere, but it's not like we care about them at all. They're just there. Alrighty, and with the end of the turn... Alright, settlement lost doesn't matter. Orion, you cannot reach this guy, unfortunately. Let's move here and let's see if he tries to attack you directly. I guess we'll have to go to next turn to make sure. Ally loses outpost. What? You tell me you had the outpost here? Okay, sure. And Forest Invasion begins. Forest Invasion begins. Gifted musicians. Campaign movement range. Lovely. Oh, Akka didn't heal to full, or at least not quite to full. Oh well. And this guy looks to be landing near the Citadel of Lead, or at least trying to, but the Guardian is there, or a Guardian is there. Now, yeah, once again, this is what comes from skipping a bunch of turns. We could just leave the Epidemius here, and just ignore him. Is he at war with these guys now? We could give him these things. They are generating money, though. I sent Durthu elsewhere. Okay, you know what? Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna briefly send Loren to Athel, to Loren rather, like so. And then he can't reach Epidemius from here by the looks of it. Yeah, all right. So go to the edge of this, and then we'll send Delling here to the Citadel of, or to the Alawites. It doesn't really matter. When these guys attack it, we'll have Delling destroy them. We don't really care about this either, but I think we do want to keep the ruined Ohm stones, which is why I'm bothering with this at all. Now, Akka. Possibly or probably likely your last fight in the campaign against another Pdefu and a similar sort of stack. More Minotaurs, less Bulgors in this one. That's a lot of Minotaurs, actually. Less monsters, I suppose. Should be an interesting fight considering the type of army composition we have, and Pyrrhic victory, unlike, well, Orion, and just obliterating them with low casualties. Go. Alright, here we go. We stand against a pretty silly Beastmen army. The enemy has 12, count them, 12 Minotaurs / Bulgors to their name, led by a Gorgon, 3 Jabberslights, and then a smattering of Bestigors as well. Frankly, this army should have had more Gorgons than, well, frankly, replace all the Jabberslights with more Gorgons to go with the Minotaur theme that it's doing. But it's almost like an army a player would create. I mean, 12 Minotaurs, 4 of each kind, and yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Plus, of course, our army is not going to be as strong as Orion's army. Akka's gonna have to be a teensy bit more careful, but he is still a legend, and I trust him to do his thing. Alright, so we're going to take position and put on guard mode. We're going to allow the enemy Minotaurs to charge into the Treekin, so that they can't charge the Blade Singers directly. And once their charge has been broken by the hefty Treeman, that's not the right word. Indomitable Treekin, rather. The enemy's charge is broken. The Blade Singers can wade in and start ripping the Minotaurs apart. They may be Minotaurs, but Blade Singers dish out an incredible amount of damage, so I still expect great things. Anyway, the enemy army has charged in and surrounded Akka's anvil, and that's as appropriate. We've had his fast movers waiting. The War Lions and the Eagles now get ready to drop down. 2 of the Eagles will go for the enemy Lord, and the others will try to go for the big old targets, the Jabberslights and the Gorgon and the Lord. Single targets, essentially, though in terms of their damage, they'd probably be pretty effective at hurting enemy Minotaurs as well. And just gotta be careful because they will be a lot more fragile than the enemy. Fortunately, it looks like that rear charge is doing a number on the enemy. The Lord is terrified by the looks of it, and damn well he should be, as the balance power shifts to about 70% in our favor. One thing the Beastmen didn't account on, I suppose, is the massive morale reductions that we have as Wood Elves. Not quite as much here, obviously, as Drycha's army does, because we don't have that, we don't have the sheer number of lords and thus, or heroes, and thus not the same number of ancillaries, and we don't have that dark spirit trait. But that's alright. Frankly, the enemy taking longer to break does work for us as well, because it means we get to kill more. And the rest we can just kill off while they run. Some of them were routing and not shattered, and the war lines hit them and prevented them from coming back into the fray, causing more units to shatter. And of course, with the enemy lord dying and the enemy army losing additional units, that meant additional morale shocks due to army losses. Well done to Aka once again, who's barely taken any damage in this particular fight. Lovely. Alright. Let's do another one with Orion. Another one of these, I mean. Well, damn, Aka absolutely crushed it. I was not expecting that to go as well as it did. I thought the big old monstrous units would prove much more difficult for us, but the Blade Singers and the trees and the eagles and the war lines and the zotes all together work very nicely. Happy with it, very much so. Well done, Aka. The army is more or less destroyed. Of course, a bunch of the units did escape due to due to the difficulty of having to chase them. Beastmen being pretty darn quick, but not enough remains to trouble Aka's auto-resolve. And, might as well. Alright, lovely. Another Beastman army destroyed. Beast Herd will leave Ungrul the Land Reaper to Orion there. Alright. And was there anything else that we need to do this turn, or can we end it and finish up with Ungrul? I don't remember which turn we're on, so... Did I do building? Maybe. Not that it's important. It's been a while since we stolen tech, and we are definitely dropping. But it's at the same time, the tech isn't super important either. Oh, look who's back. The Ghoul King. I guess we could send Daith out to deal with him if he needs to. I don't want to lose too many outposts, just because it'll be annoying to deal with them. Probably should have just built a Guardian army and then sent it over there and then kept it over there, but, well, we'll deal with it later. Anyway, I think that's an end turn, or at least I would assume so. Just to double check, quick deal real quick. Defenders of the Great Plan, Non-Aggression Pact. Oh, they're able to do stuff because Nakai is now dead, meaning these guys have become a full-fledged faction. Because they weren't able to trade and stuff before. Interesting. Oh, village is slowly but surely advancing with Zata and the Black. We're kind of leaving Cathay out to dry, but it's not like they're going to be... not like they're going to be a particularly... or any kind of threat to us. Merely a threat to the Cathayans, and frankly, leaving them to their own devices after they betrayed us kind of feels right, doesn't it? I think it does. Anyway, let's end the turn, deal with whatever we need to deal with. And complete the soul coverage. Oh, actually, I want to see something. It does not add, is still in progress. And you know what? Why not? Let's pop one of these. Magic item drop chance cooldown for spells is probably the only one that would be useful to us in an enemy fight, eh? Or we could do the research rate and reduce turns by 1 for some things, but not a lot of things. I think we'll just do this one. A little bit extra damage. Alright. And now we can end the turn once more. Probably going to lose a couple more outposts, but let's get Ungrul the Land Reaper. Garby still wants peace, but that's not happening. He's been asking us for peace for way too much. It's not appropriate, Scarby. Let's hope that Ungrul actually attacks Orion rather than hitting Quenelle, or rather than sitting there. If he attacks us, it'll give him a slight advantage in the sense that he'll be able to bypass our Vanguard deploying while knowing where his army is. Where'd he go? It began. He went over here. Trickster Cult discovered Fort Oberstar. Mission aborted. Mission aborted. Dreadfleet destroyed. I lose his outpost. Did these guys betray us? Oh, they did betray us. Huh. Go figure. Well, we didn't lose any, or we didn't use any, worst encounter? Probably not relevant. We didn't use any of their units, so the fact that they betrayed us is completely irrelevant, but it is still kind of mildly irritating. Not a big deal. Also, why did I look over here? Oh, Fort Oberstar. This again. They keep getting that cult set up here, and we keep tearing it down. Anyway, Orion, time to kill off Ungrol, the Land Reaper, and the last of these things. And I don't know whether the final ritual thing spawns afterwards, or whether, like, we can take it at any moment. I'd love to leave it for the final episode, but if we have to do it now, we'll do it now as well. Do we need to level you? Probably not. And, oh! We got Cygors aplenty. That's kind of interesting. 5 Cygors, at least it's a different looking army than the other one, just due to the artillery capabilities. Still low casualties, but Orion's army is just incredibly scary. 205 charge bonus, 142 weapon strength. Frankly, all the units are no slouches. Look at that. 105 weapon strength on the Hawk Riders. Tons of armor-piercing missile strength. 148 charge bonus, 200 speed. It's we got pretty darn wacky stats. 159 missile strength on the Sisters of the Thorn. Is that more than double their original? That's pretty crazy. And still 129 charge bonus and solid melee stats. Granted, this army has no armor, but it's a wild Kernus type army, so it doesn't make sense. Anyway, shut up, Ruinous. Fight. Alrighty, here we go. One more of these, assuming one more of these until the final battle, or at least until the final battle gets unlocked, or at least until the ritual completes, and hopefully we can fight the final battle at any time we damn well please. Anyway, the battle's gonna start off with our Vanguard deployed units of Hawk Riders annoying the enemy big boys, Cygor and Gorgon alike, though we will obviously focus the Cygors more since they can directly fire back at our Hawk Riders. Probably not for too long though. First, the Cygors has lost more than half of HP and will continue taking such damage. Our Lord and heroes are waiting for the enemy to charge on in, and we are trying to soften up the enemy a teensy bit as we allow them to charge. It looks like the enemy Gorgon will actually try to charge Lady Ariel, but her protector and Orion will charge said Gorgon, who will absolutely melt. And in fact, both of them will obliterate it together. Alright, Gorgon is out of here with a very limited HP left, and the rest of the army charges on in, and we will countercharge them immediately as well. Over in the background, the enemy Cygors are melting. One's down, the next one's about to follow suit, and our Stag Knights and our Wild Riders have charged in against the Bestigors and whatever. And of course, we know how devastating the charge from all of these bucks can be, and by the looks of it, this army isn't going to take said charge any better than any other army. The Minotaurs dying in droves, melting under the massive amount of damage that our riders can deal. And just once again, 140 weapon strength and 210 charge, 77 melee attack on a 32 unit. Every single unit essentially hits us hard and harder than some monstrous infantry do. If we take a look here, Minotaurs with their 12 units have 61 charge and 132 weapon strength, and wow, their melee attack is basically non-existent, and due to debuffs as well. Once again, got to fear the Wild Riders, and that's not even looking at the Great Stag Knights of 187 armor-piercing weapon strength, that same 210 charge, and area attacks as well. Enemies having a pretty bad time, or the Beastmen are having a pretty bad time attempting to invade Athel Loren. But that just does tend to be the case whenever they do. Without Morgr to corrupt stuff by virtue of his own death, They really don't have a prayer. All right, and now we can just chase the enemy down. Orion's going to chase off and kill the enemy lord, just like the other armies. We want to make sure that as few enemy units survive as possible. Also got to remember that Orion has a massive amount of range damage, so while we can whack away in melee on occasion, that Spear of Ruinous. There we go. All right, a little bit off the mark, Orion, only taking the enemy lord's arm and not making said enemy lord just explode into bits, but still pretty good. Once again, best part of this mod is definitely not SFO, I mean the skin mod is how Orion looks. I absolutely love him in his armor. He looks so much better. Fantastic. Frankly, it would be nice if he looked like this, forever. Though, to be fair, it's not quite lore accurate. Let's be real here. Neither the Wild Riders, but I do like it. Anyway, enemy armies pretty much destroyed. Orion wins the day once again, and the Beastmen get crushed. Alrighty, there we go. Ooh, looks like one of the Jabberslights actually managed to escape, but let's face it, little else did. In terms of the Wild Riders, at 18k, a few bucks. Well, once again, only a few were needed to get the most damage out of the Hawk Riders. At 16k damage, Hawks together were truly strong, and... well, Stagnates the Lost Sylvan Knights will always win because they are a regiment of renown, so... yeah, and oh, well, the Wild Hunters of Kurnos are also a regiment of renown, but they did lose to a few bucks, so that's right. Anyway, Orion, once again, fantastic job beating down the enemy monsters and then just wrecking face all over the place and killing off the enemy lord as well. This concludes this presentation, or this, this ritual, I believe, and... alright. Keep crown. Oh! Upkeep increase to army. Ooh, the minus diplo with all factions ain't great, but on the other hand, it's just for fun and the campaign will soon be over, so it hardly matters. Faction destroyed Beastmen once more. And empowered crown, and I assume we now have to wait out the clock for 4 turns. I, once again, don't know when the final battle, the Defense of the Oak of Ages, appears. I'm hoping that you can take it at any point, so we will take it on the final episode, but I guess we're going to find out. Obviously, with the completion of the Ritual of Rebirth at the Oak of Ages, I'm going to call the episode here. Next time we come back, we'll do one of the other remaining rituals, or possibly 2 if I can fit them into a single episode. So, let's find out next time. Stay tuned for just a teensy bit more Orion. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.